I'll try to restart it as quickly as possible. So if it doesn't keep you in, or if it kicks you out for whatever reason, you can just click the link again and try to get back in. Hopefully that won't happen. But it's just been a little wonky over here with my internet. I apologize in advance if anything like that happens. Let's go ahead and get started. I need to read through our hearing script. This will just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll begin. So this is the September 10th, 2025 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. Case before us is case number ZHUV250007. That is 4205 West 8th Street. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, I'll allow Mr. Glass and Mr. Novak to tell me about the project, the relief they're requesting, and why they think that relief is appropriate and should be approved. If we did have anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I'll turn it over to Mr. Lashide at that point to provide any testimony in addition to the staff report that he's prepared. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. The final thing I need to do is swear in all of our witnesses. So Mr. Lashide, Mr. Novak, Mr. Glass, if you could take yourselves off of mute, I'll need you to raise your right hand and to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right, who's going to be taking the lead for us here on the applicant's presentation? Mr. Novak, we cannot hear you again.
Yeah, I can take the lead.
Okay, but
I think Ron might chime in.
Novak, real quick.
Andy, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
David, I think Andy is going to go ahead or Andrew's going to go ahead and introduce it to you.
Got it. Okay.
Sure.
Yours, Mr. Glass.
All right. So the property is at 4205 West 8th Street, as we all know. It's a existing complex that includes a gas station, auto repair, and drive-through. We're looking to perhaps clean up the site a little bit, hide and shelter some of the, equipment apparatus that's needed for the auto repair use on that site. The existing building is a, 1-story brick masonry building with a garage door in front. So very well suited for the use, the auto repair use. However, that use does not fit within the existing zoning overlay. So we're seeking relief from a zoning perspective for our addition, which will be a pre-engineered metal building to the back of the structure, more or less just an extension of the profile of the building, just back in order, like I say, to house and clean up some of the equipment and, backyard items that have, are needed for that operation.
Okay. And so could you tell me what is today you're requesting a use variance, right, to allow for vehicle repair on the property? What is currently happening on the property?
So let me add a little fodder to that, or a little color to that, David. This is Ron again. The existing building does have it was an alignment shop, so it was in support of the gas station that has service bays in it also. Before this addition was contemplated, so the building was being used in support of the fuel station or the gas station that has service garages in it. We would like to do this addition to enclose all of the tools and vehicles and tanks and structures that are currently behind the building that are just exposed to the elements, and the neighbors can see it from their properties. So we want to perpetuate the uses that were currently being done at that property. But when that use was being done, or the garage use, we're seeking a variance for use simply because that isn't listed as one of the allowable uses associated with the fuel station that is next door. But perpetually, the fuel station has service bays in it that have been used since before the zoning code was like this. So it's just in order to tidy up the uses across those properties or with that contiguous property in the backyard that we're trying to do this.
Okay.
Hopefully that
So,
helps illustrate what it is.
I think so. I'm just looking over all of this. So are you saying that a vehicle repair use has existed for this building and on this property since prior to the zoning code?
So our client has 3 properties: a fuel station that has a convenience store and service garage bays in it. Then to the north of that, there's the building in question that we're doing an addition on that was an alignment shop. So there's a garage door on the front of it, and there's a garage door on the back of it. And then the building to the north of that is a drive-through beverage store station. So you can get snacks and chips and sodas and that sort of stuff through that. At one time, the drive-through was the building that we're talking about right now, I believe. But it's long not been that.
Mr. Stricky, his connection has been not great today. It looks like he's somehow there. Maybe he's back. Okay.
Sorry, guys. I thought that might happen. I apologize for that. I'll try to get back in here as quickly as possible and troubleshoot these issues as much as I can. But I'd like to try to push through if you guys are okay with that. Ron,
Yeah, let's go for it.
Ron, I lost you at I think the service gas station and service bays.
Right. So there's an existing building that is a gas station, and it has service bays in it, and garage doors and lifts and all that stuff. There's also a convenience store that's part of that building. To the north of it is the building that we're talking about that we would like to do an addition on. It has a garage door on the front of it, and sometime back in the past, it was a drive-through operation. The drive-through operation moved to the north, and this building has been used to store tools, lifts, and all that sort of stuff associated with the gas station and the service of that. And so to mitigate sort of the adverse impacts of service station use that isn't allowed, or the automotive repair use that isn't listed as a use that's allowed, we want to do an addition on this building to enclose it and perpetuate the use that we have had historically with fuel station that has that service. So that's why we're here today, is believe that conditional use tidy up the site and allow us to mitigate the impacts that currently have happened behind that building because of all the tools and cars and stuff that are back there.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I've got that. So will there be vehicle repair going on in this new addition, or is this just a storage facility for the vehicle repair that's happening in the 3 bays behind the gas station?
So I believe that they're just storing cars and vehicles in there through those doors.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to tell me about the project right now? No.
No, I think it's a very unique property in the fact that it's been in use as a service station for long before I was here. So being able to clean it up, I think, is an asset and a benefit for the residences that are both to the surround the site, essentially. So.
Okay. Let me turn it over to Matt Lashide. Matt, want to add any Anything to this
Sure.
conversation?
Generally, yeah, I'll agree with the applicant's testimony. This is a unique site and was a little bit of a challenge for our review. My understanding when we took this in was that it was a legal non-conforming vehicle repair business, meaning that it was adopted prior to the zoning code in 2004. When we started our research on this case, I found that the building in question was used as a drive-through until 2011. And then the drive-through moved to the building directly to the west. And we do have a hearing on file for that, but there was no record or indication that this building was ever going to be used or was approved to be used for vehicle repair. However, I will say these three buildings are under common ownership. They all sort of operate as a complex. And the site to the east has a vehicle repair use that's been there already. So I was not here in 2011. We did not have a zoning division in 2011. It's possible that whoever was reviewing this interpreted that as being accessory to the gas station use. I'm not quite sure, but the fact of the matter is we don't have any permits under this address, 4205 West 8th Street, that approve it for vehicle repair use. So a use variance would be necessary to expand it or to implement it in the first place. And this review would cover both of those.
Okay.
In our
So does
analysis,
that mean that if there was a legal non-conforming vehicle repair in this space, that it was abandoned when the drive-through was established in that building?
I don't believe that there was a vehicle repair use until 2011. You can look on Street View and you can see
Okay.
I mean, it was a carry-out beverage drive-through.
Okay, got it.
That being said, our review is going to be fairly similar here. The building itself is pretty unique. You're in a neighborhood commercial zoning district, which is generally intended for businesses that people might walk to, retail stores, restaurants, does not allow vehicle repair, does not allow like a drive-through in the front elevation like this. So given the fact that the building has a vehicle door on the front, there's not really any easy way to bring this into economically viable use without some sort of zoning hearing. And with that in mind, I think that the applicant is doing a good job of trying to clean up their property and make it not have a negative impact on neighbors. Oftentimes in the zoning office, we get calls from neighbors or interactions with code enforcement where vehicle repair businesses are not doing this, and there are complaints from people that live nearby. I don't want to look at the pile of tires or the junk that's in the backyard. I'm not aware of any for this property, and it seems like the applicant is preventing that from happening, which we appreciate. So for those reasons, staff is happy to recommend approval of the use variance. Let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'll turn it back over to the applicants here. I mean, the use variance standards have, particularly, there's one prong that is sometimes difficult to overcome, and I think Matt touched on it a little bit, and we've all talked about it a little bit here, but could this property be put to any economically viable use under any of the permitted uses in this district? Do you guys want to respond to that question?
I think to start, I think Matt, kind of summarized it as well. It's a very narrow building, and the majority of the front elevation is taken up by that garage door. There is a small, common walk-through door also on that front elevation, but that's pretty much it. So, given that overhead door that's already exists, it seems like this is the use for that building that makes the most sense, the most economic sense to continue.
Yeah, I would also suggest that, the use that's in this building is existing and accessory to what's taking place with the fuel station and their service base. So the most economically feasible thing is a continuation of that existing use. And I think by allowing us to do this addition on it, it does mitigate that use, albeit expanded, so to speak, or, you know, non-conforming. So I think that we're talking about the economic feasibility of it because of how the facade looks, the limits of the dimensional aspects of the building sandwiched between the drive-through and the existing service station. It would be of a real benefit to allow that continuation to happen and be accessory to that fuel station.
Got it. Okay. All right. So to the applicants, any final or closing statements before we adjourn today?
No, thank you. I'm good.
Okay.
None
All
for me,
right,
thanks.
Okay. I think we'll leave it at that then. I haven't had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. And with the help of some testimony here today, I think I understand the project and the request. I think based on all of those factors, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I think it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this particular property and this particular project. And so based on that, I am going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. That typically takes about 2 weeks. I'll do everything I can to get that to you as quickly as possible. As soon as I finish that, I'll put it into a PDF and I'll email it to everybody in the hearing here today. So you'll have a copy of that really just a few minutes after it's complete. And once Matt has that, he can approve the zoning on his end and you all can take the next step. Any questions?
Thank you. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. We appreciate it.
All right, great. Well,
Thank you.
thanks for
Thank you,
bearing with me
Matt.
on the technical difficulties here. Appreciate your time, your testimony, and have a great day. Good luck with the project.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.